All right, and I gotta be honest with you guys. There's been something that's been on my mind over the last couple of weeks. And honestly, it's been on my mind for more than a couple of weeks, but it's really kind of re-emerged in my head over the last couple of weeks. And I don't know why it's specifically now, but it is. And I have to address it or else I'm going to explode. So I'm going to say it here. Why is nobody talking about how badly the Dodgers have screwed up their team? Now, I don't mean necessarily on paper, because on paper, they're ridiculous every year. Pretty much every year, we as baseball community go, okay, yep, here we go. Dodgers are winning the World Series. But incredibly, every year, with the exception of the COVID year, which, you know what, before I continue, let's address that. I hate the argument that a COVID year championship doesn't count. But let's be honest, the two teams in the NBA and in the NFL, or excuse me, the NBA and the MLB that won their championships during the COVID year, the Lakers and the Dodgers, the two LA teams, or two of the LA teams, I should say, they haven't had the best success since, especially when it comes to championships. The Lakers haven't had the best success at all. They have had almost no success since then. They really haven't even been a good team since then. And the Dodgers have been still one of the most dominant regular season dynasty teams over, in my lifetime. But they have not been able to capitalize in the postseason. And I don't know why no one is talking about it. I don't know why. You have a team that has sunk hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, honestly, probably at this point, billions of dollars into getting these big name players over the last 7 to 8 years. And yet, the only World Series you have to show for it is the one that, again, well, I don't agree with it, but the one that a lot of people don't count. I don't understand why no one is talking about the Dodgers underperforming every single year in the postseason. Now, why are they underperforming in the postseason? I think that is the question on my mind, most kind of forefront. But another question would be, what can they do to fix it? And unfortunately for this journalist, I have no idea. I don't know. Whether it's just pure bad luck, whether it's underperformance, whether it's not gelling, whether it's, whatever. It just seems like no matter how much talent the Dodgers bring into the postseason, they always run into a buzzsaw. Every single year. It's the Braves, it's the Mets, it's the, Padres. It's always somebody that ends up getting to them. Or, they lose to the Astros in the World Series. It's just, they can never seem, again, other than the COVID year, to really bring it home. And what's crazy is, I look at last year. Now, obviously, the Houston Astros were dominant all year, just like the Dodgers were. Okay? Maybe even more so than the Dodgers were. But you look at the Dodgers. You look at that lineup. Will Smith, one of the best young catchers in baseball. And again, I'm not going in any particular order. Will Smith, one of the best pure young catchers in all of baseball. Max Muncy, who's been an all-star 2 or 3 times over and has had incredible hitting seasons. Cody Bellinger, former MVP. Mookie Betts, another former MVP, right? Gavin Lux, who's a young, up-and-coming, really, really solid second baseman and shortstop. You've got Trey Turner, and before that you had Corey Seager, right? Justin Turner, who's been one of the most consistent role model players that you can have as an organization, and has been a pretty damn good player as well. And, you have all of these guys, right? You have all of this talent on your squad. And again, I'm sure I'm missing some guys as well, but the point is you have all this talent. You have all this help. You have all this opportunity. And yet, every year in the postseason, that lineup struggles. They struggle. They struggle real bad. And that's not even including the pitching rotation. Here's a list. Here's a list of some of the names that the Dodgers have had and still have over the last decade. Okay? Obviously, you got your Clayton Kershaw, you got your Walker Buehler, right? Those are your two real main aces. Okay? Tony Gonsolin had ace stuff this year. He pitched very, very well this year and last year, so he looks like a young up-and-coming arm. Max Scherzer, he wasn't there last year, but Max Scherzer was on your squad at one point, right? Zach Greinke was on your squad at one point, and Zach Greinke's prime, right? Yu Darvish was on your team, and Yu Darvish's prime, okay? And there's just so many others that I could name. I could go on all day. And then your bullpen, you've got one of the most consistent and best closers in the game over the last decade in Kenley Jansen, with the exception of last year when he went to the Braves. And, the back of your bullpen, while it hasn't been fantastic, it's been good enough by plenty. You've got this team where, every single year, you've got at least 4, 5, 6, maybe even more guys that you're going to throw out there, and they're probably just going to play so well you're going to make an all-star team. Every single year. Every year, the Dodgers make some kind of trade where we're like, oh my gosh, not again. Or they make some big signing, and you're like, how in the world do they have this much money? And yet, every year, they underperform. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is. All I can tell you is there's something weird going on in LA. Cody Bellinger has had one of the weirdest career trajectories of any player I've ever seen. He went from an MVP candidate to a scrub, to an MVP, to a scrub, to a good player, to a scrub. Are you a almost MVP? Are you an MVP? Are you a good player? Or are you a scrub? I don't know. Because every year it seems like he flips a coin, and if it lands on heads, he's going to be an MVP. If it lands on tails, he's going to hit 120 and have 320 strikeouts. And the thing is when you have a guy like that, there's a lot of reasons why a guy can fall off offensively. But most of the time it has to do with age. Cody Bellinger's only 26. He's had all this success, all these awards, and all this crazy fluctuation in his career at 26. Or I should say at least by 26, right? So it's mind-blowing. It's really, really mind-blowing. I don't really know what's going on there. And then you got Max Muncy last year, which, again, he had a good second half of the year compared to his first half, but it was like he forgot how to hit. It was like he just couldn't do anything. He was hitting like 110 through 60 games or something insane like that. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Now, he was never an average guy. He was always a power guy, but 110 or 140 or 160, it was in the ones, whatever it was, just horrible, horrible batting average, and not really any pop to go with it, not really getting on base. It was like it's like his hitting ability just went poof and just disappeared. And, obviously you tack on injuries. Kershaw is getting up there in age, right? It's just all these things that just, they always seem to go wrong. Where you can look at the Dodgers on paper and say, I don't know how anybody's going to stop these guys. I don't know how anybody has a chance against these guys. And yet they lose to the Padres in the divisional? Like, no, that's no. Or you lose to the Braves, who just, again, quite frankly, are not as talented as you last year. Now, again, the Braves won the World Series, and they deserved it. But let's all be honest. Even my Braves fans that are going to watch, your team wasn't as good as the Dodgers last year, at least not on paper. You were a better team for those few games that you played them, and you earned that. But basically, almost without fail, every team that the Dodgers play, they're not better than the Dodgers. None of them are. So why do they continue to struggle? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know. And then again, struggle might be a hard word. They are wildly successful every year in terms of just regular season record, dominating the regular season, and they're always a juggernaut when it comes to the postseason, but they always seem to come up short. And you know what? I think I know one of the reasons why. I think one of the reasons why no one's talking about this is because there's a team in the American League that's doing it better than the Dodgers. And of course, I'm talking about the Yankees. Hey guys, me again. Thank you so much for watching one of my clips from the Lopes Goes Last podcast. These clips are so much fun to do. I absolutely love making them and I absolutely love doing them. And this podcast is my baby. So I really want this thing to grow and I really want it to succeed. So if you did like what you see, please subscribe. Also hit that bell notification so you never miss any one of my episodes or one of my clips like this one. And please do also like and share these videos with your friends and your family so that we can make this thing grow as fast as possible. And I wanted to thank you again so much. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a great rest of your day.